And there we go. Welcome everyone to today's show. My name is Anthony Barogas. I'm the Chief Gearhead here at StreamTek. And we are broadcasting. A lot of people are on YouTube, but we're also on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitch or Twitter, yeah, the main distribution, you can find all our information is on the StreamTek page on YouTube. And I thank a bunch of people this morning. I found out that Facebook decided that after 15 weeks of live streaming on Facebook, that my Facebook page was not established enough to stream on it. After being on there for 15 weeks, Facebook was like, nope, nope, no, we've got a new hurdle for you. And apparently the hurdle was 100 people, and I didn't have 100 people. So I posted about this, and thankfully, 6 more people jumped in there and got me to 101. So if you don't already like the Facebook group or the Facebook page, Stream Technology, go ahead and give it a like. Just because Facebook's going to decide to put another hurdle on there at some point. But that's Facebook for you. That is Facebook for you. I don't know. Does everybody love streaming to Facebook as much as I do? Because Facebook has viewers. I find YouTube to be more reliable, easier, and better distribution than Facebook. But clients are all like, we want to be on Facebook. We want to be on Facebook. And Facebook is just annoying sometimes. But hey, post it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Is Facebook the most awesome thing since sliced bread, or is YouTube the thing, or do you just like, nope, none of those, I just only go to my own platform? Let me know. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Today's show, let me go to me over. Today's show is 7 tips for mobile multicam success. And by that, it's very open now. When I originally wrote this article for Streaming Media, I was primarily talking about using cell phones as cameras. And I did a show a couple weeks ago on an orphaned application called AirMix, which allows you to, side by side here, I created a group for that as well. So if you haven't used cell phones, Android or iOS, as mobile multicam production, there's a free app right over there. And you go back and watch the video. I will be re-editing that for release. This app was made by Curated, great company. And they made this app, and it's a good app, and it still does things that other apps don't do in this space, and it runs on an iPad, and it allows you to connect multiple cameras and switch between them and do graphics and adjust, great audio mixer and lens correction and statistics and all this stuff. It does a lot of really cool things, but it's not really in Teradek's like main lane of products. So they could have just killed it, but they didn't. They actually took the price restriction off of it, took the subscription off of it, and released it into the world. No support, no tech support, no updates, no nothing. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's on you. But it's out there. So if you haven't tried doing mobile multicam with phones, this is a great way to try it out. See what you can do. Again, there's no guarantees. It may not work at all for you, but it doesn't cost you anything either. So, and I created this group on Facebook so that you can join this group. And hey, I just joined. I just checking this out. How do we do this? How does that work? Da, da, da. And you can do that there. But AirMix is one of several apps that do mobile multicam, and that phrase has now grown a bit. So AirMix lets you use these things, but AirMix also has hardware. This is called the Curated clip that can connect to any hardware camera Also works with their video transmitters. And technically those are mobile multicam, because what it's doing is it's taking your video, packetizing it, and putting it on a Wi-Fi network. This is the same thing, Wi-Fi network. If you use a Mevo Start Wi-Fi network, it sends your video over a Wi-Fi network. So this is a mobile, multiple cameras. They sell a 3-pack of this, and that can get you going. And the same with the OBSBot. You know, these work on Wi-Fi. Now, yes, they use NDI, but you can put these around a room and just pop, 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 and then you're wireless. And I call that mobile multicam. And technically, you go all the way back to the original NewTek Connect Spark, which is NDI. Something loose on there? No. And this is, you know, got these big distinctive blue antennas because this is Wi-Fi. And this is Wi-Fi NDI. This is Wi-Fi NDI. The Mevo Start can be Wi-Fi, or you could just turn Wi-Fi off and use the Mevo's own protocol and use their multicam app on the iPad. Any way you look at it, mobile, multicam, mobile, you can be moving, but multicam, wireless. That's what the focus of today is 7 tips for mobile multicam. And by mobile, I mean wireless, Wi-Fi. I do not mean using a Wi-Fi transmitter like this. That is a dedicated, purpose-built, point-to-point thing. That's not a network. And what all these other solutions do is they rely on a wireless Wi-Fi network. And one of the key tips, I have my article over here. Bring that up. Scroll up so you can see the title. And this is all on Streaming Media Producer. This is from 2020, but all of these rules have stood the test of time. That's why I'm bringing this back. 7 rules for mobile multicam success. And the first rule, you know, with this, the nice thing is all this kit can fit in a single case in a backpack. And rule number one, and I see people break this rule all the time. Rule number 1 is bring your own Wi-Fi. I'm just going to let that sit there. Bring your own Wi-Fi. If I were to bring a wired camera to a venue, and I know I'm going to need 30 feet of HDMI cable or 30 feet of SDI cable, I'm not going to expect the venue to have the right solution for me. They're not going to have what I need there. I'm not going to expect them to have that. So I don't know why people go to venues and say, well, I'm just going to use the venue's Wi-Fi. Because essentially, if you have a mobile device and you need to connect through Wi-Fi to your tablet to switch, the Wi-Fi is your Ethernet or SDI cable. And if you're not going to rely on the venue for an HDMI or SDI cable, and if you're not going to rely on the venue for an HDMI or SDI cable, don't rely on them for Wi-Fi. Bring your own Wi-Fi. Let's bring that back up. Bring your own Wi-Fi. Something that you own, that you test, that you have beat up, that you have put as many signals through it, and you actually have tested it to the point where you've broken it. You know, I can't get more than 5 cameras reliably connected at this data rate. You know where the limit is because it's your network. And for many years, I was using this. This is the Google Wi-Fi Puck, we call it. Especially when I was using Switcher Studio, which is one of the solutions. A bit of disclosure, none of the companies I'm mentioning today are paying me or I have any relationship with them. I have used them. I have paid for their subscriptions. I either still use them or I don't. It doesn't matter. All of the products I'm holding up, None of them have paid for sponsorship or me holding up their product. I actually own everything on this table. I've been doing this for 20 years. So you tend to collect stuff. So anyway, just want to put that out there that this is not being sponsored or it's not meant to promote anybody. And I write for Streaming Media. I don't, go read the article, but I don't get paid anything if you read the article. So continuing on. Oh, see, that's the one thing I'm finding this doesn't work as well as I had hoped. Bring your own good Wi-Fi, and these Wi-Fi pucks have served me very well in that they're very simple, they're kind of cool, they're small, they're not the fastest thing out there, they're not the longest reaching thing out there, but it's also a mesh network, so I can go. I've put 3 of these in a row, and that has extended my wireless wires across an entire auditorium very reliably. And I did a 4-hour live stream with 9 cameras, 2 days in a row with 0 issues with these. Now, you can't get these anymore, not new. The thing with this one, this is the 2016 model. If you decide to go look for these, you can find them super cheap on Facebook Marketplace because everybody's upgrading to better Wi-Fi. But these have been super reliable for me in the years that I've used them. And they have, in addition to being compact and reliable and mesh networking and kind of cool with the little Cylon red light when it doesn't have not connected to the internet. The other really cool thing that they have is, let me go here, is they're powered by USB-C. Now, the newer model is not powered by USB-C. It has a round power plug, but the 2016 model has a USB-C plug in it, and you need to give it 2.4 amps of 5 volts, and you can run this thing for a day off of a big external battery in the middle of a grassy field. And I have done that. I have did a wedding in the big orchard, and all my cameras were connected through one of these things sitting up high on a light stand powered with a battery because there was no AC out there at all. So that is one of the things. Now, this is not the only thing. This is not by any means not the only solution out there. There are many solutions out there that can provide good Wi-Fi. And one of the ones I'm playing with, just for size comparison, I'm going to bring this over. Is this Asus Republic of Gamers ROG. I don't even know what the model number of this thing is. GTAX 6000 dual band gaming router. It takes 19 volts input at 2.37 amps. So yeah, you're not running this off of off of one of these, a USB-C. But this has 2.5 gigabit in and a 2.5 gigabit loop through. You could run, you could put a cell phone as a access point here. But this thing has got Wi-Fi 7. I think it's got Wi-Fi 7, Wi-Fi 6 at least. But this is a beast in terms of being able to serve a lot of big things. And the reason I got this is because when I try to put a bunch of higher bandwidth Wi-Fi through this puck, I hit a limit because I've tested it, I've pushed it, and knowing your own limitations is key. So in seeing that, I can get 2, maybe 3, but then it really starts to make this thing chug a little bit because it's a consumer product. Then I sit there and say, okay, what's out there that's big and bad that I can get that could possibly handle more wireless NDI further, better, faster, and not have a back-end bottleneck, because this thing is designed, the back plane on this is designed to handle 2.5 gigabits. So this is going to be, it's still in testing. It's going to be the hopefully the new workhorse. But that is what I mean when I give the first rule. Bring your own good Wi-Fi. Don't rely on whatever's at the location, because it is also usually serving everything else at the location. So you have no control over the amount of data that's already on that backplane that you're trying to compete with and get your stuff through. Secondly, a lot of times a public Wi-Fi is isolated. So you connect to it, but your devices can't see each other, because public Wi-Fi is designed for privacy so that each device can see the internet, but they can't see each other, which is exactly what all of our cameras need to do. They all need to see each other. So you don't know how well it is. You don't know how far it works. You don't know what the limitations are. It's a complete unknown. So rule 1, bring your own good Wi-Fi. So just start out with that rule right there. And I kind of skipped over my initial welcome. I love to say welcome everyone to today's show. I always love to know where everyone's watching from, because this is a worldwide audience for these shows. I appreciate you all being here. And while today's show is about the 7 rules for multicam mobile success, feel free to throw any other questions you have into the comments, because I have your comments right here in front of me. I have a nice big 24-inch monitor, so I can see your comments and you can be part of the show. And if you have a particular question about this or that, or the cameras or Wi-Fi or the apps, throw it into the comments. It's a dialogue. You're here, I'm here, and the whole point of being here together is that you get to ask that question and have it answered. Keith Crawford on both Facebook and YouTube said that he's in beautiful Kenai, Alaska, which I hear it's now summer in Alaska. So welcome to Mosquitoville, is all I got to say. I will actually be up in Alaska in August. So up in the Fairbanks area, not down in the Kenai. Let's see. Kent Kuholski is in Ohio. See anybody else chime in right here. Bird Feeder Network live stream is in the UK. At least I'm guessing that by the, I can't even point in the right direction anymore. I'm guessing that by the little UK flag right there. We've got 1953 M38A1 is in Ocean Shores, Washington. And they also chimed in, we pretty much exclusively do multi-camera live events. Yes, that's kind of what I try to, I mean, other than the show, that's kind of what I prioritize on. And whether it be local or remote, I have a couple remote shows that I will be doing in the next few weeks as well. I am a tall boy, says, hey, good to see you here, man. Atlanta in the building. He says, what live streaming software are you using? What live streaming software are you using? Well, I am doing the primary switch on a Magewell Director Mini. And with that, I'm using the Bluetooth control surface. I did a video on that on the channel. The sub switch, when I go to my side-by-sides, the sub switch over here is happening on an ATEM Mini. And the comments and everything and the restreaming aspect to the 6 destinations is happening in Restream. And I did a video on that. Again, no sponsorship, nobody's paying for promotion. He asked the question, I'm answering it. That's how that works. So just trying to be upfront and letting you know that, you know, I'm not promoting anything because I don't have an affiliate link to Restream to, you know, get you to be in here. He says, that's crazy. Create your own network. That's not crazy. It's actually the most reliable way to do it. Coming down the list, Dave Sack. Hey, Dave. Good to see you, man. Wow, long. Dave and I have been on the VidPro list for a long time. Watching from Westminster, Colorado. Good to see you. Hello from Austria, Digital Video Pro. And our label is in Austria as well. I wonder if you two guys are watching from the same place. Perev's Loan, watching from Kashmir, India. welcome. Like I said, it's an international audience. And you're not the only one, because GD Creations is also watching from India. And Christos is saying hello from Greece. All right, let's go back up here. We got a question. Hi, can we use a router without internet as a source to connect NDI devices, camera switcher to YOLObox Ultra? Does wireless camera support NDI out? Couple questions there, and I can answer both of those for you. Can you use a router? Okay, router and wireless access point are two different things. You can have a wireless access point without a router. This is a router and a hub and a wireless access point. This is all three things. So can you use that as a source? Not a source, it's a connection to connect NDI devices, camera plus switcher to the YOLObox Ultra? Absolutely. And while the YOLObox Ultra or the YOLOboxes supposedly have a way to share like a built-in connection, I always advise against that. Just like I always advise against, well, I have a cell phone. I'm just going to use my cell phone's hotspot to connect the next thing. The Wi-Fi in here is mainly meant to receive. It's not meant to transmit. The transmit power, the transmit efficiency, the antenna structure is really not optimized for doing multi-camera live switch production. This is designed to serve multiple devices at the same time. This is not. This is designed to suck in data so you could watch YouTube. This is designed to handle ins and outs of multiple devices all at the same time. This is not. So this can be used, and I have used this for years as my virtual wires, my wireless wires between multiple cameras. I would go into a facility. I take this. I actually have it set up over here. I take this, and I have the one I have in the kit has a little one of those little plates like this that you put on your cell phone, and then I just take this thing and I put it on top of, thanks. I put this on top of a light stand, and I put the light stand high in the air so that this is way above the people. Because remember, it's wireless, but it's RF. The two things have to see each other. You can't have it sitting down here on a table and have 200 people between you and the camera, because 200 people is basically like 200 bags of water, and water absorbs RF. Now, you might get some bounce around the room, but the best way to do it is to get it up in the air as high as you can so that you have direct line of sight to the cameras. Dominic, a great Switcher Studio producer in England, in the UK, he's used these for years, and I remember seeing an event that he did in this huge facility, big dance club and everything, and they were going to have cameras walking around for everything. They took these and mounted them to the ceiling in different places. And of course, remember, it's a mesh. As long as these things can see and connect to each other, you've blanketed the whole space. And if your cameras are down here, you've got line of sight wherever that camera might go. Smart thinking, huh? So yes, you can use these things to be your wires between the cameras and your switchers. So if I have an OBSBot and I have an Ultra, which I actually do have an Ultra here on the table. Let's go to my overhead. Here's my Ultra right here. And if I go to I can make that a little wider. And if I want to go between these two, I can indeed use my Wi-Fi that I've tested, and I know it works, and it will handle 2 or 3 or whatever my test is. And how far can I go? I've tested that. And you know, how long will it run on a battery? I've tested that. And that way I can go into an event knowing for certain that I can do the cameras, how far I can have the cameras, how long it's going to last, you know. That is, you need to have as many knowns when you go into a location. We'll get to a caveat in a minute. And then the next thing is, do wireless cameras support NDI out? It depends. The Mevo Start is a wireless camera that does NDI out. Panasonic's don't. Panasonic has NDI cameras, and those NDI cameras do have a Wi-Fi accessory, but they don't do NDI over Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is mainly for camera control, not wireless video transmission. Now, if you had a transmitter like this, you could plug in your HDMI. They also had SDI models. And then out of this, you've got 100 megabit NDI, looking for a network, just looking for a network, your network. Have I stressed that enough? Bring your own Wi-Fi. Have I stressed that enough? So yes, you can do that. Now, I have not paired this with this just yet, but that's the goal, to see how many Wi-Fis I can get going on. I'm just going to call it the Beast. Or actually, I'm going to admit my daughter says it looks like a dog walking around on four legs. And or it looks like that the Boston Dynamics dog, tick, 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 the one that's going to, take us all like Skynet at the end. So yeah, that's what that kind of looks like to me. So yes and yes, kind of. Come down here. I am your first subscriber from Jamaica. Thank you very much. Found you on Switcher Studio years ago. Yes, no qualms. Switcher Studio is a great product. I don't use it right now. I've more segued to all-in-one tools, but Switcher Studio is a great product, and I would love to revisit the tool because it's grown and developed over the course of time, and it is a very polished tool. Continuing on, how to create a hotspot on YOLObox Ultra. I believe they have a blog post on that. It's in the Wi-Fi settings. I know you did a YOLObox Ultra case video, but I'm just wondering about a remote location. What case is your favorite to use? Right now, I like the YC Onion cages because they are very well thought out, and they have the, do I have one here? I think I got one here. The cages have, YC Onion cages have locks for your HDMI inputs. Now, again, if you're going to be doing everything Wi-Fi via NDI, this becomes less of an issue. But it's still nice to have it all framed out and, held in place. And honestly, though, it's got the built-in battery. And if you're not going to be draping a bunch of wires off of it, do you even need a cage, really? Because you're just adding more weight to it. They all have screw threads in the YOLO itself. So you could easily put those on a stand or a magic arm and just go with it. Good morning from Pico Riviera, California. Good to have you back, McGee Academy of Arts and Sciences. Is there a PoE switch you recommend for NDI for travel events? Something besides the Netgear AV line? Well, the fact that you know about the Netgear AV line means you know the answer. The NDI is a particular thing because most data that is traveling around a network is it's packetized because it's on a local area network. It's video over IP. And all that stuff is packetized in multiple cameras sending little packets. And if two packets collide, they wait a random length of time and they resend. So that is a whole protocol, but it's a lot of data for a switch to be handling. And not all switches can handle higher bandwidth NDI very well. Like I said, not all switches can handle higher bandwidth NDI very well. Like I've tried with the Google, and 2-3 devices I start to see problems, which is why I'm looking at a higher bandwidth device that is already designed from the ground up to be able to serve a ton of data very fast. So that is why I'm looking at the gaming routers. That is their claim to fame, is that they are designed to have minimal latency so that your gaming isn't slowed down by the processing in the switch. So they, I feel, would be the best bet. Now, as far as I know, there's not been a gaming router that has been tested and certified to be good for NDI. Whereas, as you say, the Netgear AV line is a whole selection of network switches that have been tested and purpose built to understand and handle NDI traffic as fast and as smoothly as possible. So these are the ones. Now, you can get any PoE Netgear router, and it may work. But the thing is, as you start to pile more into it and ask more of it, you're going to hit issues where the system is not designed to handle what you're trying to push through it. So that is where the advantage of the Netgear AV line comes through. If it's just a couple cameras, 2 cameras, 3 cameras, probably any gigabit switch with PoE from a reputable manufacturer is going to do a good job. When you get to demanding more, like, oh, well, now I've got 4 cameras coming in and I have 3 programs going back out, and one of them is multicasting, so that camera is actually going directly to a destination and not through my switch, then yeah, you're going to want to go with something that's purpose-built. Anthony, hello, Anthony from LaSalle, Illinois. Hey, Mike, good to see you, Mike. Thanks for being there. And how many NDI free on the YOLO Box Ultra? 3 inputs and 1 output are free on the Ultra for 5 minutes. Then you have to pay. You can test it, you can see how it works, you can play with it, and then after 5 minutes, those are not, it times out. Because NDI was created by NewTek, which is now VizRT, or was purchased by VizRT, but it's created by NewTek. NewTek invented NDI in 2015, and they're on version 6 of the software. With now it has HDR and 10-bit and everything else. They invented it. They own the patent. Anybody can license it, but when you incorporate it into hardware, you have to pay for the license. So the fact that Mevo includes NDI in their start is kind of an outlier, because normally you get most any camera, if you purchase a Sony, a Canon, a Panasonic, a JVC, a Marshall PTZ camera, typically they come without, and they can be NDI capable, but NDI is not activated. Then you have to pay $299, $300, even $400 for certain ones. You have to pay to activate NDI on that camera. The one outlier to that is BirdDog. BirdDog is generally designed as an NDI camera first, so when you buy it, the NDI is already activated, is incorporated into the cost, so you're not paying for it and paying again. There are like PTZ Optics just came out with a camera that they're including the NDI license on, and the switch I just did a video on, which is the GoStream Duet, which is SDI and HDMI. They are also including a single NDI ingest license with the Duet, and that's $399. So I don't know how they're doing that either. But if you want NDI on the Ultra, you need to activate NDI on the Ultra. And when you pay for the license, you pay for the license to be activated on that device. If you have an OBSBot camera, you have to pay to activate it on this device. When you buy a second one, it's not activated on the second one. It's only activated on this device. And once it's activated on this device, it's now active. So if you sell this one, the license goes with it. You don't get to keep the license and put it on something else. The license is tied and priced for that particular item you activated on. So the license for the Ultra activates all the inputs and all the outputs on the Ultra. YOLO just announced a software update for the Pro, which enables one NDI input. Now, Frank has also said, hey, they may look at, or might have been somebody else, they're looking at maybe an NDI out it's an additional activation. So activating it for the Ultra does not mean you also get it activated on a Pro. Two different devices, two different activations, and once it's turned on in that device, it stays with that device. You can't, oh, can I move my Ultra license to the Pro? Can I move my Pro license to the Ultra? No, you can't. That's how that works. Carla says PTZ Optics, Bird Dog, OBSBot, and so many more. Yes, NDI. Hey, and if you're looking for any of this gear, give Carlos a call. He's a reseller and he can help you out. If you're looking for NDI, what is NDI? And if you are curious about what NDI is, and you're new to, where's my cursor? There it is. Oh, I saw it. There it is. If you're curious about what NDI is, let me go over here. Like that one button is not working. Now you working? Nope, that's just not going to work. Okay, we'll go here. And we'll get rid of this. I've got like too many switches going on. So on the StreamTek channel, if you go to the videos, if you're curious about NDI, there are several very good videos. Come on, load, load, load. Several good videos that I have produced. No, I did not click on one. Go back. Scroll down. Scroll down. Keep going. Keep going. It's being very slow today. So, you can see NDI, a basic intro. This one right here, that is a great place to start where I kind of explain what is it? What is NDI and what does it mean to utilize NDI in terms of trying to produce video? What does NDI really give you? The basic intro right over there is a great starting point. And then when you get up to the top, there's more NDI, which talks about bit rates, licensing, full versus HX, because there's a couple different flavors of NDI which have different data rates. Because I talk about the full versus HX and the bit rates, because then you start throwing a whole bunch of NDI on the network, you realize you're starting to fill up what the network can do. And whether it be wireless, then you're really, you're competing with a lot of other things in the Wi-Fi space that you don't necessarily have to deal with in the wired space. So there's a lot to think about when you're doing NDI. And then there's one more all the way back at the beginning, all in on NDI, which is actually a video I had produced for Streaming Media years ago that's repurposed just because it really does talk about like communications and control and bidirectional, utilization and having one device and multiple, destinations. There's a lot going on there. So the all in on NDI. If you're curious about NDI, you've got a couple great videos on the StreamTek channel that you can just spend, a little bit of time today, this afternoon, bookmark them, save them, share them with your friends. And you can, really get up to speed on what NDI can offer you. And then if you're looking at, I did a really cool one on, here it is, NDI cameras on the YOLOBox Ultra. So I connect the OBSBot and the Start on the Ultra, and you go through that process and show you what you can do, what the advantages are and things like that. And then the Ultra is not the only thing, because the Director Mini from Magewell also has the ability to take a camera like this and control the pan, tilt, and zoom over NDI, because that is the key thing with NDI, is that it's a bi-directional connection. If you have HDMI coming in, I got the video. If you have SDI coming in, I've got the video. If you use SRT, you receive the video. If you use RTMP, you receive the video. If you use NDI, you get the video, but you can also reach back out and send tally to the camera. You can send a return feed of video to the camera. You can tell the camera to zoom in, pan left, pan right, go to preset 2. whatever that preset is. Go to preset 2. You can do all of that with NDI because it's a bi-directional interface, whereas HDMI, technically it is, but it's not, is not, SDI is not, SRT is not, RTMP is not. Those are all just coming into me. Thanks for the video. That's it. But I want to continue on with the 7 rules because we've only gotten through rule 1 and it's been 45 minutes. But it's been the most important rule. Side by side. I don't know why this thing just keeps stopping working. Yeah, this might not be as reliable as I had hoped, but if I turn it off and turn it back on, and then I do this, then it works. So I think there's a sleep command in here that's messing with me. So it's going to sleep if I don't touch it often enough. So rule 1 is bring your own good Wi-Fi. And one of the key things, let me touch on this. One of the key things with Wi-Fi that will always be a challenge. I know people love I don't have to bring any wires. Yeah, but wires are always the most reliable thing. Whether it be NDI, whether it be HDMI, whether it be SDI, wires are always very reliable. Wireless is great and it's quick and it's easy until it doesn't work, because you could be sending your NDI over Wi-Fi and then somebody else shows up with a wireless video transmitter. Guess what frequencies these wireless video transmitters use? They use 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, which is the same frequencies that Wi-Fi uses. The difference being Wi-Fi is a networking protocol. So each of these devices, let's see if I can just have it stand up here for a second. Each of these devices sends, receives. Did you get it? Did you get it? It's a very polite social code, system, where if you didn't get a packet, don't worry, I'll resend it. Here you go. That's how it works. These things are like driving a Mack truck through a glass shop. You turn them on and they take over a swath of frequencies and they send their video. They don't care who else was there. They don't care what else was going on. They just take over and slam their information through, because these are designed to be reliable from point A to point B. They don't care what else is on the frequency. And if you've got 2 of these walking around on your studio, your Wi-Fi is basically going to be terminated. Some of the new ones now work on both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, totally dominating. It makes them more reliable, yeah, but it kills everything else. So if you want to have a wireless microphone, hey, I tried to use wireless microphones at NAB, and you know what? There's some wireless transmitters in the 2.4 gigahertz space that basically meant that I couldn't get a reliable signal from me to the camera because there was too much other RF. And the real challenge is, but I looked on my Wi-Fi scan and I didn't see anything else. These don't show up on a Wi-Fi scan because these are not Wi-Fi. They don't broadcast an ID. They just take over a frequency and they don't care. There are ways you can find them, but then it gets really complex and, frequency RF scans and things like that. But it is a real challenge. Someone asks, can I freeze replay video on my YOLObox Ultra? No, I don't think you can. Hi, Anthony from the UK. Good to see you from the UK. All right. Hey, the button worked this time. I just got to remember to keep switching cameras fast enough. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to take a moment to say, hey, if you haven't already, go to give this channel a like and subscribe, because, hey, put out good content. I appreciate it if you help, boost the subscriber count, because that tells YouTube that people like this, which then YouTube says if people like this, maybe I should share it to more people. So it's like a self-fueling thing. So help me out with that. And then also, if you haven't already, you can go to the StreamTek page, which now has 100 followers. Actually, let me refresh that. As of this morning, when I tried to set up today's stream, I had 95 followers, and Facebook said, nope, no stream for you. So I put out a calling, and thank you all to everyone who saw my posts and says, hey, you know what, we'll go follow the page, get me over 100, which allowed me, you see the little live icon right there. You all made that happen by following the StreamTek page and getting me over 100, which was the hurdle that Facebook put in there. After 15 weeks of live streams to my page, it was very disheartening for Facebook to say, yeah, you're not established enough. You don't get to stream to your page. But thank everyone who jumped out this morning, got me over 100 so that now I am actually streaming live to my page without a break. So thank you all. I appreciate you. Also, I will mention Streaming Media Producer is where I write articles. Just did an article on the X1 from Bird Dog. That's going to be bad. You can sign up for the newsletters right here, and they will come right to your email. So new content it'll just show up in your email. You can say, oh, that's something I want to look at. And then you go to the website. You don't have to remember to go there. And if you're looking for consulting, you can reach me on the contact page at stream4.us. So back to the article. Bring your own good Wi-Fi. Number 2, don't trust the house. Oh, no. We've got good Wi-Fi here at the restaurant. Don't care. Bring your own Wi-Fi. Oh, no. We'll give you an audio feed from the board. Guess what? I'm bringing an audio mixer. Why? Because I have done enough shows in 20 years of doing live production. In 20 years. Yeah, it's been a long time. I have done enough shows. You can see right there. This is a live show. This is being done on Switcher Studio. So that's the iPad Pro. And then I have my own audio mixer. Now they're doing a show. They have a pro audio person standing at an audio mixer and he's sending me a feed. Why do I have my own audio mixer? Because I'm going to say 90% of the time, the feed that they give me needs to be tweaked in some way. Somewhere along the line, somebody goes up and starts talking and their audio is lower. Sounds good in the room, but I'm looking at the levels on the meter. I'm listening to it in the headphones. Always make sure you have good headphones. And it's like, I wish I could just turn that up a little bit, just that one mic. And then when we go back to everything else, it sounds fine. I can turn it back down. Or I want to increase the high frequencies a little bit, just fix that off a little bit. Is he sending me line level or is he sending me mic level? Doesn't matter. Just give me the XLR. I can plug it in here. I can select whether it's line or mic level, and then I can fix everything else. And then I can also add my own microphone to this and then have a little bit of room sound as well. And I can do my own little submix for the remote audience. Whereas, if somebody's talking to the audience, hey, how's everybody doing today? Their microphone that's going out to the audience is designed to not have the audience in it. The remote audience would actually appreciate hearing the fans, hearing the audience. So adding a room microphone, which would feed back in the room to the remote audience, is actually a good idea. And I can do that when I have my own sub mixer. So don't trust the house. If they're going to give you a feed, great. If they're not going to give you a feed, be prepared because you don't trust the house. No offense to the house. Some great people in the houses, some great houses I've worked at, but always come prepared to basically do your own show. And, when I used to do weddings and events, yeah, they could have, a great sound system at the church or whatever. I'm still going to take my own microphone and I'm going to go up to, where they're going to stand and I'm going to connect it. I'm going to have the groom wearing a mic. I'm going to have maybe the priest wearing a mic. I'm going to put a microphone on the pulpit or the bema, and I'm going to have it up there so that I'm getting my own audio all the time. I'm not relying on their wireless system. And if their wireless system all of a sudden is all sketchy and stuff like that, doesn't matter to me. My audio is good. Don't trust the house. Coming down here, let's go to, there's 3 pages, but it's only on the first 2 pages of this article. Scroll down. Rule number 3, backups. I can't tell you how many times I've been hired for an event and they would say, we just need 1 camera. How many of you would show up with just 1 camera? Don't show up with 1 camera. Show up with 2, at least 2. And when I'm doing a live stream, yeah, we just want a shot of the podium. And then when you get there, there's always we're going to have 2 people. or he's going to have someone do an interview with someone. You know what? I brought a second camera, and I'm going to have a wide shot and I'm going to have a close shot. And I can do that because I brought a second camera. But if my first camera overheats or something happens, I've got a backup. It's already connected. It's already running. I switched cameras. You don't even know I had a problem because I've got backups. You know, if I'm doing a live stream, I go to an event and I bring my laptop, which has got vMix on it, and I bring a little USB, capture device, and I have a backup. So it's like, hey, at the worst, we're going to take one camera, run it through my laptop and get it on the air, so to speak, because we're going to get it done. I'm going to have backups. Or if, like, even today, I'm on my Director Mini, I've got enough things going on, so a failure in any one thing does not take the whole system down. So that is a really good rule, is to have backups. Hey, I'm going to go there. I've got my vMix switcher. I've got my capture card and everything. I'll bring a YOLO box and I'll throw it in my bag. Why? What happens if the laptop blows out? What if the power supply for the laptop decides to die? I've got a backup. It may not be as capable as I promised, but it's going to get something done. And rule number 3, have backups. How many times do I hear stories of somebody saying, I brought name tool here, works for any tool. I brought this tool and I went there and it crashed. I lost the gig and my client hates me. Well, did you have a backup? Did you test it before you went? Were you sure it was going to be able to work outdoors in the sun at 100 degrees or 45 degrees of heat Celsius, for 4 hours? Did you test that? Did you actually test that before you went? No? Then it's on you. It's not on them. And that kind of leads us to rule 4. Rule 4. Test everything. Test everything. Test it, test it, test it, test it, test it. If I sound testy, it's because I'm testing everything. This setup that I did with the 9 cameras and everything, you can see I've got my laptop there. The laptop was the backup. Should something go really awry with the wireless setup that I had, I'd be producing it on the laptop. But the goal was to produce it with Switcher Studio on the iPad with 9 devices spread around the area. And I built it, I tested it, and it worked. I did another stream with the Mevo Starts, a concert, and these were going to be on stage on little mic stands for the entire concert. I had these on mic stands, connected the batteries outside in summer heat in Texas, and I ran them for 7 hours. The concert was only 5. I ran these for 7 hours just to make sure they would do what I needed them to do. Test everything. And people say, well, why does it cost so much to have you come and do this? Because I'm not just doing it for you. I tested it. You're paying me not to show up. You're paying me to deliver a successful event. And that includes not just me being there. It includes the setup, the test, the knowledge, the years of experience. It includes everything else. So test everything. Couple more comments coming in. Photo cut for you. Hi, Anthony from the UK. Hey, thank you everyone for being there. Photo, he's got a question. On the Olubux Ultra, if I play a video on the SD card, can it automatically switch to any camera after the end of the video? I don't think so. I have an Ultra here, and I'm going to add a video source. You can't see it though. Let's go to my overhead. Go here, and I'm just going to adjust this while we're live. Let's zoom out and see if we can focus this. Like, I'm not really set up for this, but we'll do it anyway. Local video. Do I have any cards? I do have a card. I'm gonna stick a card in here. And this is the magic, like I said, of a live show, is that you're here, I'm here, we're both here together. Let's choose that one. Done. And then I've got that video, so then you go into your settings. I wish they would reorganize these things so that the video source transitions, the local video play mode, stop at the last frame or loop, local video switching, pause when switching, continue playing when switching. No, I don't think the Ultra has a what to do when it reaches the end of the clip. The Director Mini does. The Director Mini, you can tell it at the end of this, do that. And like when I started the show on the Director Mini, I have it playing the countdown, and that's a graphic, and I have it with my main mic muted, and it is a me over the background. And then when that timer reaches the end, there's an execution. It says switch to this, take the graphic off, and that other input has the mics up. So it does all that automatically. And when I do this show, I don't have to do anything. When that counter reaches 0, it automatically transitions over. Next question. Oh, we got another hello. Saul TV, good to see you. Thank you for being there, Saul. Can I mix between Wi-Fi and SDI HDMI cameras, specifically regarding audio latency between sources? Depending upon your switching tool, yes. It depends. NDI is always going to take longer because, it doesn't have to do anything to do with being wireless. It has to do with the fact that your video is being captured in the camera. Like if I have a bird dog camera and I have HDMI connected on that camera and NDI and Ethernet on that camera, both connected to that camera, that one sensor, the HDMI, the image hits the sensor, it's collected, and it's sent out HDMI. And then it also gets sent over here where it's then compressed, compared against A and B frames, packetized, sent along the network. Then at the receiving end, that HDMI signal comes in and is used. And on the NDI comes in, has to wait for all the packets, and then it's decompressed, and then it's used. So there's extra processing that has to happen when you digitize and undigitize. If you go back and watch on this channel the live show about wireless microphones, even audio, as low bandwidth as it is, if you use a 2.4 gig mic, it's going to have a slight delay compared to a hardwired microphone. And you'll have like a little bit of reverb, a little bit of echo between the timing of those two things. And different microphones have different timings, so you can't even mix and match different wireless microphones because they all have different timings. And it's the same for, it doesn't have to do with Wi-Fi, it has to do with a network video source. It could be SRT, it could be RTMP, it could be NDI, any of those. It could be Dante AV, it could be, SMPTE 2110, I got there. And it could be any of those. There's an issue where it has a longer path to get there than just being, here's the frame, send it along its way. Here's the frame, send it along the way. Just right out the cable. Now, can you delay your video to match the delayed video coming through the IP source? If you have a TriCaster, yes. If you have vMix, yes. If you have certain tools, yes. If you have a YOLO box, no. Specifically regarding audio latency. So first, I'm pointing out the fact that your cameras aren't even going to match. We're not even talking about the audio yet. Your cameras aren't going to match. Now, that can be okay if your main cameras are wired and like the camera looking at the audience is on NDI. Like you have a PTZ on camera that can, move around and look at the audience. That one's on NDI, but the image is not going to match. You don't have to worry about that. Or if the NDI camera is a wide shot from the side looking at the whole auditorium, you're not going to see any lip sync issues with that. So by careful placement of your devices, you're not only not going to see the difference in sync match here, but you're not going to see the difference in, let me get my fingers right, sync match here either. So that can be a way to hide it. Whereas if you want to have an NDI camera and an SDI camera looking at the same person speaking on stage, you're going to have a sync match. And the NDI camera is also not going to match if the audio is coming in via wired. That's going to come right in. Whereas, again, NDI has that longer path. So you'd have to delay the audio to match the NDI, but then that's not going to match the directly wired camera unless you're able to delay that as well. So there you go. Let us go back here. And this, what I have here on this table is actually me doing rule 4. What is rule 4? Test everything. Rule 4 is test everything. And this is me on my table testing everything. I'm testing the new YOLO deck here, and I've got some custom keys in here. I'm waiting for them to have keys for overlays because I have overlays, but you can't actually do overlays with the YOLO deck yet. So waiting on that. Not as useful as I would like it to be. But what I'm testing here is I have, you can see this is 4 different cameras. I don't really have 4 different cameras plugged into this, and I'm not playing 4 videos. I'm actually using this player to play the source into here because I need to test gear all the time. I need to do test setups. I need to be able to see camera inputs without having to also set up 4 different cameras. And I want to make sure everything is up and running. So if I'm doing a switcher test or a YOLO box update or things like that, I need to have sources. And I have long been looking for sources that aren't me, first of all. And secondly, that I could use to demo things. And this controller right here has 4 HDMI outputs, and it is playing these sources so that if I hit the on-off button, you're going to see all of those go dead. And if I hit the on-off button, again, it's going to start up. I hope it's going to start up. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. It's going to find the 4 cameras. There it is. 4K media player. And it should go away. It should automatically start playing those clips as soon as the operating system in that box is up and running. And that's the key thing. I don't have to deal with it. I just, there, boom, done. Now I've got 4 clips that I can use to test stuff. And this has been running on my table for 3 days. Okay, that's a little bit excessive in terms of testing, but I wanted to see how hot this would get. I wanted to see whether these would start to be all glitchy after so many hours of testing, after it got so hot. And I just let it run all weekend. I just let it run because that's part of what testing is. You burn-in process. Let me see if I can break it. And so test everything. Oh, sorry. Test everything. And rule 5, do a site survey. So many times you find out like, hey, I tested it at home. It worked great. We went to the site and something didn't work. Very often it might have to do with Wi-Fi or cellular connectivity, because the cellular connectivity you have on your bonded device when you tested it in one location, if you move a mile, your cellular connectivity is completely different. And so if you want to know if you're going to be able to do that, live thing at the corporate whatever, you have to go there and you actually have to do a site survey. Oh, they're going to say, oh, we'll give you an Ethernet. Okay. Let's go there and do a site survey. I'll bring my laptop. I'll play a video. I want to do a site survey with the Ethernet you're going to give me, and I want to test it, and I want to push a stream for 30 minutes, looping video to see if it goes all the way to the destination, if your servers have any issue with my stream, if there's any sort of bottleneck, if it's able to, handle the bandwidth. I did a stream for a local company, and they were actually in a building that was so old that it had shared Ethernet connectivity that came from another building, and they're like, yeah, we have Ethernet in the building. We could give it to you. It's probably best if you bring your own. Site survey, very important. Go there, test it. Bring your cameras, especially if you're going to try to do wireless mobile networking. Bring your cameras, set them all up where they're going to be. Do it. And that's the best way to find out if you're going to be able to do it, is to do it. Rule number 6, dedicated devices. You don't realize how often people say, well, I've got an iPad and I'm going to use it for my live streaming. But at the same time, they've got a SIM card in the iPad and they're they use it for their messaging, and they got their email hooked into it, and they've got a couple gaming apps. And during the show, they just keep getting all these notifications. Now, you can put it on Do Not Disturb, but if it's your primary device, if it's your only device, I see people try to do things with their, this is my cell phone and I'm trying to do a show and I'm getting a call. Well, the phone is going to try to notify you that you're getting a call. And it becomes an issue by not having a dedicated device for production. Here on my desk, I've got a laptop that literally just sits here just for doing testing, doing these shows. This is a dedicated device. Yes, it's only a $100 laptop, but I don't ask it to do much, but basically show you these websites. When I need to call something up, I need to have something here, and I'm not going to keep repurposing another device and have it, where is it now? Oh, I just installed the latest something on it. Now it doesn't do this other thing. This is a dedicated device and it does this. And that is a key thing, especially in terms of don't use your mobile phone and don't use your, primary iPad that you use for everything else, or your kid's iPad. Oh yeah. Well, I need it for the show this weekend, and they've gone in and tweaked the settings. Or my kid is like an expert at custom configurations. You go there and it's like, there's no icons. They're all clear windows and this custom background, and everything's the shade of everything is now all yellow. All the icons have been changed to custom yellow. And yes, now Apple is allowing you to do that for real, but smart kids have been doing that for years through a bunch of hacks. And the last thing you want to do is go to pick up a tablet for production and find that your kid has hacked the heck out of it and you can't find anything. Yeah, so dedicated devices save you a lot of heartache. Plus, also, once you've tested something on that device, you know it works on that device. And if you don't update and if you don't install things, previous video, do not update. That's the video, do not update. And that goes right here. Reboot, number 7, reboot and update with caution. I just finished a video that the premise of the video is you do not update. You can go to your iPad and tell it, do not automatically download updates. And then there's a space in the app section that says, do not automatically download updates. Because when you test and verify and everything is good, you don't want to come back and find out that Switcher Studio pushed an update on Wednesday, your event's on Friday or Saturday, and guess what? A whole new splash screen and a whole new way of navigating to your projects, and your media has all been rearranged and everything, and you are now spending way too much time trying to figure out where you even are as opposed to focusing on the event. So you can tell these things, that week, when I have a Windows machine and I get hired for an event, I go into the Windows machine that Monday and I go and I let it run for a couple hours, go check the hard drive for any viruses. You do this, do all your house cleaning. Okay, there's an update and everything. Guess what? You can download the update, but I'm going to go into the Windows Manager and I'm going to say no updates for a week. Nothing. Do not change anything. Then I go and set up my vMix and I go and test the stream and I go and do all that. And I know nothing's going to change behind my back. I'm not going to come down Friday morning and find it, just standing there with a regular Windows welcome screen because it automatically updated and I don't know what's going on in the background. So reboot and update with caution, and that week of, make sure that you've tested, you prepped, and you turn auto updates off. So that is rule number 7. But if I can, I will go back up. Rule 7 is reboot and update with caution. Rule 6, use dedicated devices. Don't use the same iPad that you use for everything. It's your one iPad, and you use it for, travel, and you use it for booking, and you use it for gaming, and you use it for email, and it's your office machine, and your kids use it. If you're doing production and it's a production device, it needs to be dedicated to production. If you're going to do a site survey, go to the location and do as much as you can before the actual event so that you can find out what doesn't work, and then If you can, there's a rehearsal setup day, there's a rehearsal day, so that you can go through, and inevitably, whenever we would do things with clients and we go through step by step, go through the rehearsal, they're always like, oh, yeah, I need to have that here. Okay, so, and you find these things out, but only by going through it. Test everything, test. Like I says right here, I am overhead. I am testing this. I'm going to say this is successful. It works. It has worked reliably for several days. I've turned it on and off. I've loaded different clips on it. I'm going to say it's good. And there's actually 2 clips, and it comes with this cool remote. I was actually very pleased with this thing. I will put a link to this in the description. If I go to hit back up, is this it? Yeah. So I can come over here. I can pick a movie. It only works with, you can only do this with the remote. You can't navigate clips. No movies of this type? I thought I put it in there. Autoplay. Sorry, I put it in autoplay. Yeah, just there, just that one clip. There you go. And it just auto plays that one clip. I have another clip that I'm going to have. It's actually a talk show. So I've got 4 different camera views of a talk show, and so I can lay that in here and I can like demo switch through a talk show as it's happening, because I've got the 4 isolated camera feeds. So very handy. Does what I needed to do, and that's only through testing. Rule number 3, backups. Make sure you've got, if your primary doesn't work, what do you have that can get something done? Maybe not as good as the primary, but it can get you a camera, 2 cameras or something like that, and get to the stream. And make sure that your backup is set up. So if you've got a custom RTMP and all this other stuff set up, you got to set it up on both your primary and your backup. I'm actually doing an event where my whole setup is a backup for another person in another state. And they're going to be calling the show. Both of us are going to be switching. But if their entire computer system goes down or their internet goes down, I'm the backup, and I'm actually pushing the stream to a backup RTMP. So if their signal goes down, and we've tested this already, my signal is automatically on failover. Backup, backup, backup. And number 1, bring your own Wi-Fi. So let us go here. StreamTek can support on YOLObox Ultra. StreamTek can support on YOLObox Ultra. I don't know if that's a question. The answer is actually no, because StreamTek does not have an Android APK. StreamTek creates an API for different platforms, and Elgato does not make an API for Android. So you can't take a StreamTek and plug it directly into a YOLObox, which is an Android tablet, and have it work. So if that's a question, that would be the answer. Anthony, can you recommend budget-friendly cameras for live streaming events? I have a video on what's the best camera. And the answer is none of them. Because live streaming events is such a vague question. This is a live streaming event, and the camera I would recommend for this live streaming event that I'm using right here, which is the Sony ZV-1, is not anything I would use for a corporate on-stage event. I would not use this camera. I would not recommend this camera. Nor do I think this camera is particularly budget-friendly. And it depends on if it's operated or not. It depends on the distance from A to B. It depends upon your budget. It depends upon what you're using it with. You know, so if you have, you know, I could say, oh, Bird Dog's got a new 999 X1, and it's a good camera. But if you're using a YOLObox Ultra, you have no way of controlling the Bird Dog. So now you have to add something else, and you're adding additional costs. So can I recommend a budget-friendly camera for live streaming events? This does not determine what camera to use. There's so many other variables that determine what is the right camera. You know, I have PTZ cameras. I have a set of DSLRs for if it's in an office. I have a set of long zoom cameras. I have a set, I even did a video on, putting ENG lenses on DSLRs, on micro four thirds cameras, because if you need to do something that's very far from the stage, you need a lens, you need good glass. All these are different tools that work on different live streaming events. I would not use them all. I would not use DSLRs for a musical concert. I would not use my long lens cameras for an in-office quarterly corporate, marketing event. Different cameras for different things. So the right camera for the right event. So there's not going to be one camera that's going to serve all events very well. I'm sorry I can't answer that question with the answer you want, but that's actually the answer. So that basically answers all of our questions today. We went for a good hour and 20 minutes. I thank you all for being here. I do appreciate the fact that you come here every week and tune into my show. If you haven't already, please go over to the YouTube channel and give me a subscription, because there's going to be lots of good content. I'm sort of backed up on the edit bay at the moment. I've had a lot of things going on. But hey, give StreamTek a subscription. Hey, go find a playlist and put it on loop. Give me lots of views. That would be great. Just let it play for the week and watch my viewer count just skyrocket. And then what's going to happen is YouTube's going to say, hey man, this one's hot. We need to show it to more people who might like it. And it becomes a self-fueling cycle. And then once again, I do want to thank everybody who helped me out today. And when I tried to start the stream this morning, StreamTek had under 100, and Facebook enacted their hurdle of you had to have 100 people. And they says, even though you've streamed for 15 weeks or 16 weeks already, your channel, this page is not established enough and you can't stream anymore. So they shut me down, and I posted about it, and a bunch of people quickly followed the StreamTek page, and now I'm at 122. Actually, you know what? I'm going to refresh that, and I'm going to bet you guys have actually made that get better still. Let me click on that, and where we're at 122. And when it refreshes, we're 124. Yes. 2 more people joined in there. So thank you very much for all that. Also, as I mentioned at the start of the show, there is a Teradek AirMix group if you're interested in some free software. No monthly subscription, no upfront cost. Let you try it out. It is unsupported. It is orphaned, and there are things that aren't going to work. But if you just want to try it out, it's a fun little app from Teradek that they have released to the world to go play with. And I created this group so we can all share ideas and suggestions. Feel free to join that. Go see my articles on Streaming Media Producer. You can sign up for a newsletter right there. It's free, and you get all the updates. If you need any consulting, I'm over here at stream4.us. And if you want to purchase an YOLOBox Ultra, a Pro, PTZ camera, encoder, or a bunch of things, feel free to visit Videoguys.com. There's a link in, I didn't put it in the description. It will be in the description. Go to Videoguys. There's a StreamTek curated store. I make 50 cents on everything that you might buy. Okay, I might make more than 50 cents. I have an affiliate relationship with them, so that if you're going to buy the YOLOBox Ultra anyway, and you liked a couple of the videos that I have here on this site that helped you make that decision, purchase it through them, and I make 50 cents. Or follow the links to purchase it through Amazon, anywhere you want, whichever reseller you want. I don't want to influence you. Buy it there. I don't want to influence you at all. And also, if you want to revisit this, you can go to Streaming Media Producer and search for the 7 rules for multicam success. I will be redoing this for the StreamTek channel, updating it a little bit because some of the content has changed. Like the fact that I am going to be trying to on camera it looks absolutely beastly. It does. This was the router that I've used for my 9 Wi-Fi, nine, not Wi-Fi, yeah, 9 Wi-Fi cameras with Search Studio, but now with NDI, I'm thinking of possibly upgrading a little bit. So this is the beast, or as my daughter says, it looks like that Cambridge design, or what, the little dog that runs around that's going to be carry the backpacks and works in the military, and eventually Skynet will take it over and that'll be the end of us. So thank you all for being here. Once again, my name is Anthony Brooks. I'm the Chief Gearhead here at StreamTek, and I will look forward to seeing you all next week.